Welcome to Biggest Spoilars, the destination for exclusive spoilers, latest updates.
In the grand, often Gothic, tapestry of Port Charles, peace is a fleeting illusion, a momentary calm before the next storm of betrayal, vengeance, and heartbreak descends. For Michael Corinthos, a man who has endured a lifetime of trauma crammed into his young years, a fragile sense of normalcy had finally taken root. He had built a new family with Sasha Gilmore, welcomed a beautiful newborn daughter, Daisy, and was focusing on the future. But in the world of General Hospital, the past is not merely prologue, it is a living, breathing entity, a ghost that refuses to be exorcised. That ghost has a name, Nellie Benson. And as a chilling sequence of events unfolds, a kidnapper's threat, a father's protective gunshot, and a shocking revelation of the true culprit, the citizens of Port Charles are about to be plunged into a nightmare, a baptism by fire that begins with a desperate act of violence and ends with the terrifying realization that the most dangerous monsters are the ones you believed were long dead. The gathering shadows, ominous signs and a mother's fear. The first inklings of danger were subtle, the kind of things a weary parent could almost rationalize away. In the serene nursery of the Quartermain mansion, a space meant to be a sanctuary of innocence, an unsettling anomaly occurred. Sasha Gilmore, entering to check on her sleeping daughter, was met with a soft, melodic tinkling. The mobile above Daisy's crib was spinning, its colorful figures dancing in the low light. She hadn't turned it on. The nanny was off duty. Michael was elsewhere. A cold trickle of unease traced its way down Sasha's spine, a primal maternal alarm she tried to silence with logic. Perhaps the mechanism was faulty, she thought. Maybe a draft from the window set it in motion. She pushed the disquiet aside, her anxiety soothed by the sight of her perfectly safe, slumbering child. But the fear had been planted. This was not an isolated incident. It called back to a deeply disturbing event at General Hospital itself, just after Daisy's birth. In the chaotic, sleep-deprived haze of new motherhood, Sasha was briefly handed the wrong infant. At the time, it was written off as a catastrophic but innocent mistake by a harried nurse, a terrifying, yet explainable, error in a busy hospital. But now, viewed through the lens of the activated mobile, that incident takes on a far more sinister hue. Was it a simple mistake? Or was it a dry run, a test of security, a moment of psychological warfare perpetrated by someone watching, waiting, and learning the rhythms of the new family? These are the calculated, chilling actions of a stalker. This is not a random criminal, this is someone who derives pleasure from the intimacy of the threat. Turning on the mobile is a message: I have been in your home. I have stood over your child's crib. Your sanctuary is my domain. The wrong baby was a probe. Can I manipulate your environment? Can I induce panic and confusion? For Michael and Sasha, the world is suddenly rendered unsafe. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of the curtains, becomes a potential threat. This is the psychological groundwork for the terror to come, a campaign of fear designed to make them feel vulnerable in their own home. The Spectre of Nellie, a history of vengeance and deception. To understand the true magnitude of the threat, one must confront the ghost. Nellie Benson is not just an ex-lover or a bitter co-parent. She is a foundational trauma in Michael's life, a vortex of chaos and malevolence whose influence has shaped his entire adult existence. Their history is a masterclass in manipulation and vengeance. Nellie initially targeted Michael not out of love, but as a weapon to inflict maximum pain upon his mother, Carly Spencer. From that poisoned seed, a toxic tree grew. She became pregnant with their son, Wiley, and what should have been a complicated but manageable situation spiraled into a gothic horror story. Nellie's descent into darkness was rapid and terrifying. She attempted to murder Michael, leaving him for dead. She engaged in a chilling baby swap, separating Wiley from his family and causing unimaginable anguish. In a move that showcased her profound instability, she married the manipulative cult leader, Shiloh, further entrenching herself in a world of control and abuse. Her final, dramatic confrontation with Carly on a remote cliffside ended with her seemingly plunging to her death in the raging waters below. Her body was never conclusively found, a classic soap opera trope that has left a door permanently ajar for her return. For years, the characters and the audience have operated under the assumption that Nellie Benson is dead. But in Port Charles, where faked deaths are a time-honored tradition, absence of a body is proof of nothing. The fan theory that Nellie survived has persisted for a reason. It is narratively fertile ground. And now, the pieces fit with a terrifying precision. The stalker's behavior, personal, intimate, psychologically cruel, bears Nellie's unmistakable signature. She has a litany of scores to settle. With Michael, who moved on and built a happy life without her. With Carly, whom she holds responsible for her downfall. And most importantly, with the son she feels was stolen from her, Wiley. Michael's subsequent marriage to Willow Tate, initially a strategic move to secure custody of Wiley and shield him from Nellie's memory, has only added another layer of perceived betrayal. Now, with Michael and Willow divorced and Michael sharing custody of their 2 sons with Willow while building a new family with Sasha, the timing is perfect for Nellie's reemergence. From the shadows, she would see a man who is everything she believes he took from her: happiness, stability, and a new daughter to replace the son she lost. The potential for havoc is limitless. The violent confrontation, a father's worst nightmare. The spoilers promise a climax of unbearable tension. Michael shoots Daisy's kidnapper. One can imagine the scenario unfolding with heart-pounding terror. Perhaps it's the middle of the night. An alarm is tripped, a window is found ajar, or simply a parent's instinct screams that something is wrong. Michael races to the nursery to find the crib empty. The mobile is spinning, a cruel mockery of his fear. Panic, cold and absolute, seizes him. Then, a clue, an open door to the garden, a fleeting shadow in the mansion's grand hallway, a desperate call from a security guard. Michael, his mind blank with primal fear, acts on instinct. He may retrieve a gun from a safe, a tool of the Corinthos world he has always tried to distance himself from but can never fully escape. He gives chase, his heart hammering against his ribs, his daughter's name a silent prayer on his lips. He corners the figure, a shadowy form clutching a bundle, his daughter. Words are exchanged, threats are made. The kidnapper, perhaps realizing escape is cut off, makes a move that Michael interprets as a threat to Daisy's life. There is no time for negotiation, for reason. There is only the overwhelming, biological imperative to protect his child. The gunshot rings out, a sharp, violent report that shatters the quiet night. In the immediate, deafening silence that follows, Michael rushes forward, his body trembling with adrenaline and dread. He has acted as a father, but he will have to answer as a son of the mob. He has potentially taken a life. He pushes the figure over, ready to scoop his daughter to safety, his mind already reeling from the traumatic event. He is killed for his child. He is a hero and a murderer in the same breath, the face of the true culprit. But the true baptism of fire is not the gunshot, it is the revelation that follows. As Michael looks down at the face of the person he has just shot, his world does not just shift, it implodes. The initial shock that it is not some anonymous mercenary or a random criminal is profound enough. But the ultimate, soul-shattering realization is yet to come. This is where the spoilers hint at the true mastermind. The person Michael shot was merely the pawn, the disposable foot soldier hired to do the dirty work. As this individual bleeds out on the ground, they might gasp a name, or perhaps Michael finds a phone, a clue that points inexorably upward, to the architect of the entire scheme. The real culprit, the one who orchestrated the stalking, the hospital switch, and the kidnapping, is revealed. And the face of that culprit is Nellie Benson. The shock is multifaceted and utterly devastating. First, there is the sheer, impossible reality of it: Nellie is alive. For years, they have lived their lives, mourned her, fought over Wiley's legacy, all under a false premise. Her survival rewrites history. Second, there is the psychological horror. This was not a random act. It was a meticulously planned assault by the one person Michael believed was permanently erased from his life. She has been watching him, studying his new family, and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The stalking was not just a prelude, it was her signature. The encouraging words in this harrowing tale are the supportive whispers between Michael and Sasha as they tried to dismiss the early signs. the vows to protect their family at all costs. The angry threats are the unspoken promises of vengeance that Nellie has been enacting from the shadows. Michael's gunshot was the violent, explosive intersection of those two forces. The aftermath, a landscape forever altered. The fallout from this revelation would be catastrophic, sending tremors through every relationship in Port Charles. For Michael, he is left not with closure, but with a new, more profound terror. He shot the wrong person. The true threat is still out there, more enraged and determined than ever. The guilt of taking a life, even that of a kidnapper, will weigh heavily on him, a burden compounded by the knowledge that he failed to stop the real enemy. His relationship with Sonny Corinthos would be thrown into sharp relief. Has he become the very thing he always resisted, a man who uses ultimate violence to solve his problems? For Carly, her maternal world would be rocked to its core. The woman she fought, the woman she believed she killed, is back. All the guilt and trauma from that cliffside confrontation would come flooding back, mixed with a new, more potent fear for her son and grandchildren. The war between Carly and Nellie would be reignited, but this time, Nellie has the advantage of being a ghost. For Wiley, the innocent at the center of the storm, the question of his safety becomes paramount. If Nellie is alive and has a claim to him, the custody battle that once defined Port Charles would re-emerge, but now it would be fought against a phantom who has already proven she will stop at nothing, including kidnapping her own son's half-sister, to get what she wants. For Sasha, her postpartum journey, already fraught with its own challenges, is hijacked by a nightmare. The fear that her child was targeted by a woman she only knows from horror stories would be paralyzing. Her trust in the safety of her home and her family would be utterly destroyed. General Hospital spoilers tease that Nellie Benson may not be as dead as everyone thinks she is. Commodity, rather, someone, is proceeding in PC and we may know who it is. Nellie has a lot of scores to settle in City. First of each there's her partner, Michael Corinthos. Nellie took up with him to get back at Carly Spencer. Nellie ended up pregnant with Wiley and from there it got weird. Nellie tried to kill Michael, engaged in a baby exchange, and wedded cult leader Shiloh. Who's the snooper? Michael and Sasha Gilmore have a new baby at the Quartermain manse. Someone has been watching baby Daisy and at one point that person entered the nursery and turned on the mobile above the crib. When Sasha checked on the little one she was puzzled as to why the mobile was on, but soon got detracted by the lovable little pack of joy in the crib. Before Mama and baby came home, there was another odd incident at GH when Sasha was given the wrong baby. Was that a mistake or did the riddle person be to switch infants? Is Nellie back to beget havoc? We last saw Nellie when she plunged to her death after wrestling with Carly. Numerous suckers are induced that Nellie didn't die in the accident, and if that's the case she may be the snooper. Michael married Willow Tate in a shot to get guardianship of Wiley and help Nellie from being a bad influence on the boy. The marriage turned real but the couple lately disassociated and Michael has guardianship of their kitties. Because of this, it's a perfect time for Nellie to come back and raise annihilation for Michael. Can you imagine how alarmed Michael and Sasha would be if Daisy faded? Nellie could indeed try to take Wiley. Because Nellie is supposed to be dead, no bone. Would suspect her, making it easier for her to get down with her shenanigans.